Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And we have today here Liam Shanahan. He's an offensive lineman out of LSU. So nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on.
Actually, I've met you before. We actually had you down
Okay.
at the Hula Bowl. So
Yes, sir.
had a great time there. Hey, buddy, for people who may not know you and your history, why don't you kind of hit us with a brief summary, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll start going back to high school. I'm originally from Massachusetts. I went to Marlboro High School, just public high in Mass. Where I kind of play a lot of sports, everything, but football was really my main thing. Coming out of high school, wasn't super heavily recruited, um, but I was recruited, fortunately, by Harvard, by Coach Joel Lamb, primarily there. And ultimately, that's where I went straight out of high school. It was kind of a local school for me, and obviously getting the opportunity to kind of get that education combined with the football that they play in the Ivy League, it was kind of an easy decision for me. Uh, and then after I finished my 4 years, started for three, I still had extra year eligibility, so I decided to kind of test my luck in the transfer portal and see where I could go. Ultimately, with the goal of just playing at the highest level possible of football, and I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to go down and play at LSU, where I started at center for the last 2 years. Um, and got my master's degree from LSU too. Uh, and that kind of leads me to where I am here today, training for this NFL draft process now.
Great. So let's just kind of I guess chat about that a little bit. So I mean, again, uh, a guy out of Massachusetts ends up going to Harvard, and then from Harvard there then transfers to LSU. According to my notes, you've started, I want to say like 52 or 53 games, that sort of thing. So a very experienced guy has mainly played center the past couple of years, but I know you have some experience like all along that line, right? Three.
Yeah. Like I said, at LSU the last 2 years, I started at center. Um, Prior to that, at Harvard, I actually had never played center before. I started 2 years at right guard at Harvard and 1 year at right tackle. Uh, kind of going to part of my process going to LSU. I didn't really know what position I was going to be playing. Once I got there, it was kind of more, let's see what you can do and see where you can fit in with the offensive line room. Um, and ultimately, kind of day one is when I got thrown at center at LSU, and I kind of just ran with it from there. Uh, but I consider myself a versatile guy, just because I've been at center the last couple of years. I feel like I'm more than capable of playing really any of the interior offensive line positions. So.
Gotcha. So, I mean, is that how you kind of see yourself projecting to the next level? Like, do you see yourself maybe leaning towards the center position just a tad bit more there, or what?
Yeah, I mean, probably just because and playing in a center in the SEC for the last 2 years, uh, that's kind of what I've been doing. So I imagine that's uh, how people are seeing how I will project at the next level. Uh, but really, I'm a guy like I'll do whatever. I'll play. If somebody wants to throw me at tackle, I'll go play tackle. But really, I see myself as kind of an interior guy, center or guard. So.
Gotcha. And what do you feel like is the best part about what you bring to the table as a prospect? I mean, is it that versatility, or is it something else?
Yeah, obviously versatility is I feel like one of my strong suits. Uh, I feel like playing center plays into kind of my skill set a little bit because I feel like I can process things at a very high level, in terms of reading defenses, making calls, kind of trying to take charge of the offensive line out there. Uh, I feel like that's kind of another one of my top like attributes as a player, that separates me from other prospects.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at you and we look at your really just your overall size, I mean, some decent size, really, about 6'5", 300 or so pounds. I mean, so yeah, maybe perhaps in a pinch, like you could be a backup tackle, pretty much, if somebody wanted you to, if someone needed you to, because you've had some experience doing that. But again, like you said, I mean, more so, somewhere on the interior. So yeah, I mean, I think that that certainly suits you well. Um, I did want to talk to you though a little bit. I mean, obviously for a guy that played in the Ivy Leagues as well as the SEC, just kind of want to get your take on perhaps some teammates that you've had during your time. When you look at those two institutions, give me at least one or two guys that have impressed you the most as teammates there.
Man, it's that's a good question. I guess I'll start at LSU because it was more recent. Um, yeah, I had the guys that I played with at LSU are some of the most talented players and stuff that I had seen up to this point. Yeah, I'd say someone I'd give a shout out is probably Ed Ingram, he played left guard right next to me. Um, even I guess I'll go down right guard, Hines, and our right tackle, Austin Deculus. Those are three guys where we kind of started together for 2 years. Where they're also in this draft class. And I'm excited to see what they're going to end up doing because they're all really good players in their own way. Um, and then dating back to Harvard, one of my teammates, he also ended up his name is Eric Wilson. He is in this draft class as well. He played at Penn State this past season as a grad transfer year. So he's someone who I'm really close with as a friend. Just kind of we went through this similar processes with transferring out of Harvard and whatnot. Uh, he's another player too who I think is going to do some really good things coming up with this next step for him.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of reiterate, I mean, I think all those guys that you had mentioned there, Deculus, Ingram, Hines, I mean, a lot of guys really already know their names. You seem to be like that unsung guy there, like in the middle. Like people kind of forget the fact that yeah, they got to have this good quality center to get the play started there. So I mean, definitely some great talent that you're surrounded by there at LSU, and then just kind of going back there a couple years to your Harvard days. I mean, I remember sitting down with Eric. Awesome, just good quality person, but an excellent athlete as well. People need to look that guy up as well. So.
No
Um,
doubt.
I do want to kind of circle back to you because I mean, obviously, I'm interviewing you. I mean, I do like giving guys a shout out because I think it's kind of neat to do so. But we had invited you to the Hula Bowl because we really liked you, and I kind of want to give you a little tidbit from some scouts that actually did a write up on you. Guys that did this, just want to give them a quick shout out. Timothy Weston and Austin Cochran. They put together this eval for you. So here's a little clip. So uh, be patient with me if you don't mind. Um,
Uh,
so it says shows quality athletic ability, having good agility, short area quickness, foot speed, and above average ability to anchor and flex. Has sufficient strength to not lose ground against defensive linemen with a high motor and the ability to win those one on ones. So you get a guy like I had mentioned, high motor, guy, very very feisty, very aggressive there on the interior. So, um, is how does that sit with you? Is that okay, or you want to add to that a little bit as to if we were to describe you as a prospect?
yeah, man. I mean, I something that I really take pride in my game is just being relentless, which kind of ties into that high motor piece. I would say, uh, you know, every play, no matter what, I'm gonna be going 110% till the whistle blows, and then we're gonna line it back up, and I'm gonna do it again the next play. You know, and I feel like that's some way that plays to my strengths in terms of winning blocks, just through continuously, uh, fighting throughout the play, throughout the block. playing with a chip on my shoulder. Like in these past 2 years, um, very rarely was I the biggest guy on the field, or really never. But I got plenty of size, or I've got good enough size. And I like to play physical and tough. I'm not going to shy away or be afraid of anybody. Uh, and I'm just going to line it back up next play. Let's go again. That's the type of mindset that I have. So
Great. And again, like I had mentioned, I mean, we invited you to the Hula Bowl. We really liked your potential. So, talk about your experience with that event, just kind of in general, like any story you want to share. And let's just kind of start with getting that one phone call and that sort of thing.
like about the Hula Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to go down there in Orlando for that week in January. Yeah, it was a great opportunity to play against some really good players, play with some really good players, especially on the offensive line guys on my team. And get the opportunity to talk to and play in front of so many scouts and whatnot. It's crazy to think we were only there for a week, but I made some good friends in that short time. Both guys that I was playing with, and then even playing against. There's like a respect kind of between two guys that you're going at it, you're going against each other, and ultimately, like, that's the person who stands in between you and your goals. Uh, you know, but getting the opportunity to kind of go down there and test and try to prove myself, against just higher levels of competition, it was awesome. So
And I guess another thing that was kind of neat is that you were able to actually sit down with a whole lot of NFL scouts, man. You sat down, you probably did several interviews. So talk to me about your experience there. If there's any story of that you want to share.
yes, sir. I mean, that was another reason why it was such a great opportunity. There were scouts from just about every team there, multiple scouts really from most teams, and kind of getting that opportunity and time to sit down with different teams and different scouts, and kind of having a good one-on-one time with and personal interviews. I really appreciate that opportunity to kind of display these scouts who I am, like what put a get them to know me more than just a player on film, if that makes sense. So
Cool. And again, you probably sat down with most teams, even not, or maybe even all of them in the NFL. I know we had some other leagues there as well, looking at players. So definitely because you never know how things are gonna end up, down the line. So, um, but no crazy question, nothing like that, right? Just kind of straightforward, you know.
yeah, it was pretty straightforward for the most part, I would say. I mean, um, yeah, nothing too crazy I can think of in terms of questions or whatnot. But
Gotcha. And so, with all the, I guess the postseason All Star stuff, your time there at LSU, your time there at Harvard, what kind of sticks out to you as perhaps like the most memorable moment or highlight of your collegiate career? Is there like a game or a play that kind of replays in your mind?
man, that's tough. There's so many to choose from. I guess I'll break it down. I'll go one LSU and one from Harvard. So I'll say at LSU, really my best memory, I would say, was this past season. We hosted Florida. They came to Death Valley. Uh, we were coming off a loss. Lot of negativity going around, kind of surround the program, and we were able to go and play Florida, who was ranked at the time. We rushed for 300 yards on them. Our running back, Ty Davis Price, he had set the individual or the single game rushing record at LSU, which, when you think about some of the other guys that have come through, like Leonard Fournette, I mean, there's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so many running backs, to kind of be a part of that offensive line that helped set that. Um, that record at LSU is something that I'm extremely proud of, and it sticks out to me. And then also just beating Florida, a rival, at home. Um, so that's the LSU. Back at Harvard, my best memory also happens to be against a rival, Harvard Yale.
The
We
game.
played them, yeah, the game. We played them at Fenway Park um, my junior year, and we won, obviously, which makes it a much better memory. But for me, being a Massachusetts kid, I worked for the Red Sox full time, really, for like 3 years at Fenway Park as part of the grounds
Wow.
crew. So getting the chance to kind of play at Fenway Park um, with my coworkers taking care of the field, like I'm out there in my uniform playing stuff, and like my buddies are literally right next to me on the field, like taking care of it and whatnot. Uh, Capping the season with a win over Yale, that sticks out to me as my best memory from Harvard for sure. So
Yeah, I mean, again, in both cases, you kind of highlighted, going up against a rival, getting a win over them. Obviously, just kind of going back to that one Florida game. I mean, being able to completely just dominate your opponent in the run game. I think that's really awesome. I mean, I think all the offensive linemen that I talk to, it's all about exerting your will over the other guy and
yes, sir.
pushing him in that direction. And there's no better feel than that. Definitely awesome. I do think that that is one of the better things that you have going for you as a prospect, being a quality run blocker as well. But I do think that over the course of your time there at LSU, also being able to be in like pass heavy sets. I mean, you look at a guy who could, really be in like a lot of different, schemes and offenses. I mean, is there maybe something that you feel fits you one or over the other?
Um, I mean, really, that it kind of ties back into versatility, uh, where I feel like I'm I can play. I feel like in just about any type of offensive system, whether it be like an outside zone system or gap schemes or whatnot in the run game. Um, at the end of the day, I feel like for me, a lot of it is just comes back to technique and being a technician. Um, which is something that I strive to improve on, and I still have a lot of work to do in that area. It's kind of never ending improvement. So at the end of the day, that's kind of my mindset on that.
Gotcha. Liam, I kind of want to take some time, kind of step off of the football field talk for a little bit. I kind of want to meet this guy outside of this game. So, talk to us a little bit about you. I mean, anything interesting about yourself? Fun, unique, special, quirky hobbies, interests, or passions you got in life. So go ahead and hit me with that.
Yeah, man, where to start? I guess. Um, I mean, I'll go back and talk a little bit more about being on the grounds crew at Fenway Park. Um, so when I was at Harvard, that was like really my full time job in the summer. It's a little different in the Ivy League in terms of student or athletes having to work and get jobs and whatnot. So really, what I would do every day, I would have my workouts at Harvard from 6 to 8 a.m. Uh, Hop on the bus or train, whatever was available, get over to Fenway Park, and then I work at Fenway from probably 9 a.m. If it was a game day, I'd be there till like 11 p.m. And then do it right back the next day. And that was for me. That was awesome. I mean, living in Boston, being at Fenway Park, and then ultimately I was fortunate enough to be there for the World Series year. And
Awesome.
I got a World Series ring with my name on it and everything. So
Sweet.
um, yeah, that's a fun fact. So I guess no matter what happens at the NFL, I got a professional sports ring already. So
Well, we want to add more rings to your collection for sure.
yes,
So,
sir.
being from the Boston area, I'm assuming that you're probably a fan of like all of the like local sports teams.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Which I'm a big Boston sports fan, so that only made it even better.
I kind of figured as much. So, aside from like all the sports related stuff, like in your hometown, like if I were to come visit you there in your hometown, where would we have to go, and anything else that we'd have to do?
Man, I'm like I said, I'm from Marlboro, Massachusetts. Um, we got some. There's a really good barbecue place in Marlboro. It's called Fireflies. I think it's actually like nationally ranked, which is it's kind of
Nice.
random. Like when you think about like all the barbecue in Texas and whatnot, and then there's just this random place in Massachusetts. So we definitely have to go over there if you were in Marlboro.
Gotcha. One other quick, I guess, non-football question, I suppose. You have a favorite movie or something that always kind of hits you the right way?
Yeah. This may be a little bit of recency bias because I actually had just rewatched it, but my favorite movie's the Dark Knight Batman movie with the Joker. I just rewatched it the other day because I was going to see the new Batman movie that came out. But for me, that's just a classic. Uh, I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously one of the better Batman movies, but I mean, I guess it all depends on your perspective. I mean, with all the different Batmans out there, like who do you think's the best Batman?
Man, I don't know. I'd say
That's a tough question.
that Dark Knight one is my favorite movie, so that's who I'm gonna have to go with. Which honestly, he's a villain, but the Joker is probably the most like captivating character from that movie too. But it is a tough question. I mean, there's so many to choose from. So
No, it's all good. I should know if it was Adam West or Christian Bale or Michael Keaton. You know, a lot of people like swear by Michael Keaton, even like the most hardcore guys like always say he's the best one. So it's all good though. I mean, I kind of want to leave it open for people who haven't seen the most recent movie. So I have a little bit of a bias, but I get it. So it's all good. Hey man, as we wrap up this interview, I want give a shout out to where you're training right now for your pro day. So tell us about that. Tell us about when your pro day is and your expectations for that event.
yeah, so I've been in Georgia, just outside Atlanta, the last couple months. One came here after the Hula Bowl, actually. I've been training with Velocity Football. Josh Richardson is owner of it, speed coach and strength coach. And it's been a great 2 months. Our pro day's coming up on April 6th. So it's actually one of the later pro days, which I'll just have to take advantage of the extra time I got to prepare. But I'm really looking forward to getting out there on April 6th and being able to, uh, one, put my abilities, athletic abilities on display, from like running drills, the bench, and then also offensive line drills. And then also, I'm really looking forward to being able to get back out on the field for one last time with some of the guys I mentioned, like Ed Ingram, Shanahan, Austin Deculus. Wearing the same shirts. Obviously, we're not in a game or anything like that, but kind of being teammates one last time. So,
Sure, I get
uh,
you.
yeah,
All right, buddy. Final question for you. I know there are scouts watching. You've sat down with some scouts before, I'm sure. But one last opportunity to give your pitch to all those guys as to maybe perhaps why they should draft you, sign you, and what you would bring to their franchise if they took a chance on you. So go ahead and hit those teams with your pitch.
yeah. I mean, wherever I end up, you're going to get a tough, blue collared, guy who's going. I'm going to stop at nothing, to accomplish my goals. You're not going to find anybody that's going to do more than me from physical workouts and whatnot, getting extra drill work in with technique, from being a student of the game. Uh, I love football, and kind of throughout my life, whether it be not being heavily recruited out of high school, being doubted, people saying I wouldn't be able to play in the SEC, to now taking this next step to the NFL. I'm here to prove myself right. That I can compete with the best in the world, and I can't wait for whichever team I do end up with it. To take advantage of that opportunity and make sure they're very proud of the decision that they made.
Yeah, definitely a player that I know has played obviously at the highest level possible when it comes to college football and has had success. You have, like you had mentioned, kind of proven the fact that you belong. You have the size, you have the versatility, you have a lot going for you as a prospect going into the pros. And buddy, I wish you best of luck in your pro day and everything else you got going on these days. All right, buddy?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and thanks again for having me on.
Sure, no problem. Once again, I have with me Liam Shanahan, offensive lineman out of LSU via Harvard. Uh, Thanks for watching.